What's going on, everyone? Yes, today is another toy review, and yes, the robot that stands in front of you is the one and only Autobot Drift. Drift here is based upon the Transformer comic books. That as much as I can really tell you about them because I'm not really big into Transformers, but when I see some pretty cool shit and something different, I have a tendency to say fuck it and pick it up. So that's pretty much what I did here with this figure. Now, this figure is also made by Flame Toys, and this is their very first release under the Flame Toys label. Now, I've heard by looking at some of the other reviews that supposedly the team that is Flame Toys is the same team that actually created Sentinel Iron Man figures. If that is the case, I can definitely understand why this figure is so damn amazing. Because anybody that know about Sentinel Iron Man figures, they may be expensive, but they're really well crafted, they're really well painted, they're really well thought out. And that's pretty much what this figure has to offer. So, that being said, let's go ahead and jump into this review and see what Drift has to offer for us. So, as you can see for yourself, the details in this figure is pretty damn solid. When you're looking at them, I'm going to bring them up quite a bit so y'all can see. But if you notice, there we go, you can see all type of just small details in them. Really, really well done. Paint job is superb. Such a great job on this figure. Like, it's really nice. Even down to the feet. Like, such great detail. What's nice about this figure, too, he is die-cast metal. So he does carry some weight on him, which is really nicely done. It's really well thought out where they place the metal at. So he's well balanced as well. So you don't got to be concerned with nothing there. Like I said, just tons and tons of detail in this figure. Such a great job. I'm going to bring him up a little bit closer so y'all can see that back end. Like how much just quality going to it. You just see small little pieces a little bit everywhere. Really great work. Now, Drift here is one out of going to be 4 so far that has been shown. They just released a pre-order 2 days ago of the other robot they're going to be releasing, and that figure looks amazing. So you can actually pre-order him rather, and he is a pretty penny, but it's really well done. And hopefully with this review, you can kind of see what you're going to get yourself into if you decide to go with the new one or go with this, whatever the case may be. They also have another, I think it's Star Saber, something like that. The last one I seen, they just showed, what was it? I believe yesterday. They show Optimus Prime. That is definitely getting picked up. He looks amazing. So if you got Instagram, you can go to Flame Toys page and actually check it out on there. But enough of that. We're going to go ahead and look at height dealing with Drift. So Drift stands about 8 to 8.5 inches tall. So he's not a small figure by any means, especially by him being die-cast. And it's made everything so much more better. So I'll go ahead and put high-res Barbatos up. And I can pretty much tell you right there how tall he is. He has a nice little range of height on him. And if you put him next to like a human-style character, here is SIC Kamen Rider figure. And once again, it's pretty short compared to that figure. All right, so that is your height. Now, Drift here is not a Transformer that can physically transform. If you're big on your Transformers actually being able to form into something, I would say this probably won't be the figure for you. But if you can see past that, then I will say you will be picking up something pretty damn sweet. So even though he does not transform, they made sure they didn't treat him wrong by, not giving him a nice amount of accessories. Drift here comes with definitely a nice amount of accessories, and they was not pulling any punches on it. So he's going to have a total of 8 set of hands, and all of the gestures are really well done. So you're going to get the shit's all good, thumbs up, And it's just really, really well crafted. Nice scope lines, nice and clean. The hands pretty much work exactly like Metal Build Gundams. Like they have that same type of feel to them, and even to the scope quality. Like it's just everything about it is really, really well done. So if you like Metal Build Gundams, I'm pretty sure you will love this, because that's pretty much what it feels like. Because I own a Metal Build, I own two Metal Builds, and I love both of them, and I kind of have that same feeling dealing with this. Here is kind of that you draw your sword from the sheath type hand. Really well crafted. Nice clean lines, nice clean paint job. Yeah, I'm using a calligraphy pen tip to actually display these hands, because it makes my life a little bit more easier. Here is like a relaxed hand. Nice, good gesture there. All right. You're going to get, oh, sorry about that. You're going to get the smack the shit out of you hand, also known as karate chop hand. This one actually made a little bit different. So it actually looks like, you know how you see in games where someone like casts a spell on a weapon? They kind of got the wrist arched upwards, almost like he's giving somebody a high five. But that's also really nicely sculpted, really nicely done. And by the way, all of these hands go onto the joint just by peg, and they go in extremely smooth, no fighting with it whatsoever. So a really nice transition when you're changing out hands. You're going to get these sprawled out finger hands, which is also really nicely done as well. Really, really nice. And the nice part is that the plastic isn't so hard that you're going to feel like if you drop it, you'll break it. It's firm, but it doesn't feel weak either, where like you can just put some heat to it, and next thing you know, it becomes extremely soft and brittle. This is like a really well done plastic. Another sprawled out hand. This one actually looks more like a reach, like you're reaching for something, or like relaxing on the actual sword itself. Really nicely done. You're going to get the fisticuffs. Pretty simple, pretty basic. Still nice and clean. All right. So that is all your hands that you will receive. And you're going to get, oh, actually you're going to get one other set. I already equipped them onto his sword. I'll show you the sheath first. So here is the sheath by itself. Nice and clean paint job. All right, it's nice you have a little joint here where it's actually can move up and down. This way you can actually get the sword out of the way when you're doing poses. So this is really nice. Also, if you notice these little ridges, they actually hold the weapon in place extremely well. So I'll show that to you. So when the sword is inside this case, you actually have it looking like that. And when I say this is nice and firm, yeah, you're not taking this out. You have to physically pull this out. So they did a really good job of keeping it nice and snug. Really nice. Now, outside of the case itself, it looked like big ass machetes. So this is the blade. Nice clean scope and paint work. Really nice. And that's the grab hands. So if you notice, they're actually nice and firm. So this is the end of, all right. So we're into part 2. Sorry about the abrupt disconnect, I forgot that my camera phone only records up to 10 minutes. And this is the best way for me to actually show you details. So I went with this. But yeah, like I said, just nice and firm grip. Also, if you notice, hand not coming off, not going nowhere, real nice and firm. It is kind of difficult somewhat to put the sword into the hand. I would say definitely angle the tip of the sword handle between the index and the thumb, and then that way you can slide in between and actually put the sword in without then damage anything or having to put any force on it. So that's how I would say place the hand onto the sword. You're also going to get this really cool ass sword as well. So this is his third weapon. In total, he gets 3 weapons. You get 2 swords that look identical that goes on his hip. And then you get this big weapon that actually goes onto his back. Really, really nicely sculpted. See if I can get a close-up for y'all. There we go. Nicely sculpted. Now, this sword actually reminds me of like some old Thundercat shit. Mainly because if you look at the center, it's like a yellowish tint. If you press down on the handle, which, what the shit? Oh, it probably ain't work because I'm dumb. I got the sheath on. So I'm going to go ahead and take that off real quick. And nice part is about all the weapons, by the way, no matter which way you face the blade, either or, it'll go into the sheath with no problem. But what I was trying to show you is that you can see that it's yellow, right? When you push it, it opens up, it turns blue. Push it down, it turns back yellow. But it definitely reminds me of some Thundercat shit. Like, oh, like it definitely got that feel to it, but really nice detail. The gold on it stands out really strong. Nice, goes with great with the silver. The blade looks great. And it's pretty large. See, it's actually tall as him. All right. So that is that. He's going to get a total of 3 face plates. I'll bring this in close real quick. So you're going to get the screaming face. Which is really, really nice. Nice yell. Even if you tilt the head down, it kind of gives a more devious look to it. Now, the way you change out the face, got these 2 fins here. I'm going to bring the camera up some. Got to definitely be careful because these 2 fins are pretty sharp, for one, and 2, they're kind of delicate. So definitely be careful on removing his faceplate. You don't want to break nothing. So normally when I did mine, I just pinch cheek to cheek, hold the middle of the head, and then just wiggle until you feel it give in a little bit. There we go. I got it off. Like I said, it is thin plastic. It has a little bit of give, but just be careful with it because you don't want to break it. Now on the face, I normally grab the chin and just also see if I can wiggle this off. Sometimes it comes off really easy, sometimes it don't. Because I still haven't really loosened mine up enough. So what I'm going to do, instead of me messing around with it, because I don't want to make the review go on longer than what it needs to, I'm going to put that piece back on, but I want to at least show you the faces. So you're going to get the yelling face, the more stern face. See if I can get it focused for y'all. Really nice paint job. Transparent eyes as well. You're going to get the gritted teeth face, which is also really nicely done. So that is that. So I'm going to leave that faceplate off for right now because I also want to show you other stuff. And having that off, it just make my life a little bit easier. You're going to get the very last accessories, which is like his hobo outfit. You get this nice drapery here. It's like a raincoat, like a cloak. whatever you want to call it. But this just a poncho, just goes directly over. You have to take off the head guard that I removed in order to put this on. So make sure you do that first so you won't snag nothing. The paint job on it is really, really nice, actually. Like, it reminds me of like a 3A or 3.0 type paint work on the cloth. So that's really cool. And then you'll get this little scarf to put on with it to kind of give it more of like walking through the desert style look, or just more mystery to it. I'll show you how that looks once I put it on. So that is that. That is all of his accessories next to this big ass base that you can see that pretty much resembles like a Metal Build base, or a Gundam base for that matter. So that is that. Now, dealing with good old Drift and his articulation and his gimmicks. This is where everything start becoming super sweet. And I'm going to tell you right now, after everything I've dealt with this figure definitely is a 9 out of 10 in my book. It's really great. It has one weak point, and I will explain to you exactly what that weak point is if you haven't already heard by looking at other reviews, whatever the case may be. His waist joint is pretty crappy. Not that it can't hold a pose, but you can notice when I was moving him, he kind of got that Tokyo Drift waist. Like, it's all over the place. Like, this shit is ridiculous. So that's the only thing I'm not really feeling. But outside of that, the figure itself is amazing. Like, seriously amazing. So one of the gimmicks, or the main gimmick rather, he actually lights up. He has tons of LED lights in him. He actually has 2 big bright yellow lights in his shoulder. He has this Autobot face that lights up that turns red. He has 4 chest pieces that turns crystal blue. His eyes turn crystal blue. And his legs, you can kind of see the light hitting it. This also turns crystal blue on there. Set of batteries go on that part. Set of batteries go in there. On set of batteries go on each shoulder piece. And batteries go in his back that covers the chest and head. So he got quite a bit going on. All right. Now, dealing with articulation, this is the thing. His head can go about that far back, which is actually pretty damn good. Get that focus fade off. Don't be ignorant, camera. There we go. So you can go about that far back, which is nice. You can go about that far forward. All right. Now, the thing about this that you have to be careful with, he got this J-lid on chin type shit going on. So when you're rotating his head, just make sure that the chin is up high enough so it won't scrape no paint or just won't break nothing. So I would say definitely be careful on turning the head. Plus, you don't have to turn it too much. I turn it at least about that much just because in reality there's no reason for me to turn it more than that. But he can tilt as well. So really nice motion on this figure. Now, going to the shoulders. The shoulders have so much going on. So you actually have these 2 big pieces are on ball joints. So you can see me move this individually. All right. So I can tilt it. So I can get it to focus. Don't be stupid, camera. All right, so you can tilt it that way. You can actually tilt it in and out a little bit of wiggle room there. He also have butterfly joints. So if I turn around to the back of the figure, what's nice is just how smooth everything looks. So for one, when you actually using his butterfly joints, come on, damn it. Autofocus is such a pain in the ass sometimes. All right. When you're using the butterfly joints, you just push out. And that's how his butterfly joints work. Now, it is kind of odd. One arm goes out a little bit further than the other, which, whatever, it is what it is. But that's what goes. So I wouldn't force anything. If yours do the same, it can possibly do the same. Just be careful. That's that. And then you have another little movement to kind of help that, clear its space. So clearly, once you move that stuff out of the way, you can actually get a little bit more range, and you can put his hands across. So you can actually hold the sword two-handed if you want it. Like, they give a really great range for this to be a robot figure. Really dope. So I'm gonna push that back in. Now, outside of that, right? So, on the shoulder pieces, you actually get a lot of things going on here as well. This and this and this all are connected. When you place the batteries in, you actually move this little gray piece that's up top. Let me move the camera up for you. You move this gray piece up top. So if you pull this off like so, this is where you place the batteries. All right. Once you put the batteries in, go ahead and put it down. When you want to activate it, the lights, you actually pull up on this, which if you notice, these turn, this protruded out, and the snap lets you know that the lights is on. So if I had batteries in there, this will actually light up. When you want to cut it off, you literally can either push back here if you just want to make your life easier, and it will shut itself off. So they definitely need to implement that more into figures, because having to take something off to hit a switch, that's actually annoying. This is really, really nice. The fact that I can actually shut it off just by moving certain parts of the figure itself. So that's really cool. Also, this real flap right here is spring-loaded, so it actually bounces back, which is dope. Let's say, for example, you want to lift the arm up. It's nice and smooth transition. That's how far the arm can actually go out. So his shoulder pieces does not hinder him in any sort. Now, also what's nice, you can do rotation. All right. It does stop at some point just due to the fact that there's wires in there. And then if you screw the other way around, you go out that far. So tons of range. You do have a rotate in the lower, on the upper bicep. It's got the upper bicep swivel like a humanoid figure for the most part, or human style figure rather. You got double jointed elbows. Great range going there. You can pretty much almost touch his chest. Same thing goes for bending upwards. On his forearm, which is also really dope, turn this to the side so you can see. This beautiful design here, you actually can rotate the forearm and it'll work. But what's nice is what you're not seeing is when you rotate the forearm, this has a little spring in it. Or not necessarily a spring, it might just be some nice plastic. Either or, you can see it snapping into place. Get this to focus. Oh, this camera be on some BS. There we go. So when you rotate the arm, you can see it come out a bit and then it snap back in place once it clears the area. So that's really, really dope. You have a ball joint in the wrist. So the hand can go down, up, out, inwards. Really great amount of motion. Definitely works like a metal build figure. Now, going down to his ab crunch, you got this movable piece working with this movable piece, and then if you put the waist involved, everything just works together extremely well. So if I lean him back, he goes about that far. So making him yell works great. Now going forward, nice amount of range there. All right. Great amount of bend. All right. He can shift. He can actually tilt a little bit each way on that little ball joint in there. He can rotate. Let me move this out the way so nothing get dinged up. So he can rotate. He got a nice amount of clearance, so that's not a problem. Obviously, you see that his skirts can move. The front and backwards can rotate out. They can flex out. I actually had one of these pop off during the review I was doing, so I just fixed it. Took no time. Everything is perfectly solid. All right. Now, as for leg, his leg game is crazy. So he can do practically the full damn splits. You can kick forward just as far. Going back, we don't have too much to work with there, though. Make sure this is okay. And I want to show you something, too. There's two things. One may be a function, and one is clearly not meant to happen, I don't think. But this is where I was saying that I would have gave it a high rating, but this will kind of prevent that. His leg doesn't go back that far. The problem with this figure, so his crotch area is not the strongest. Like most metal build figures, you actually have extremely strong, stiff groin area. This actually does not, so I can actually pull this off. Mine actually came off when I first got mine. I don't know if this is supposed to just stay in. I think it's supposed to come off because that way you can actually mount it onto the base over here a lot more easier. You do see if I can get this pretty close. You can see two screws that actually tightens everything together, which kind of sandwiches both parts. I wish I knew how to get in there and screw it myself, because I wonder if I tighten it up, will it make it a little bit more easier when it comes down to it not being so loose. What I don't like, though, you see it becomes kind of loose. Now, one thing that I feel like they could have did better in this area on metal builds, and also on more so on Robotech airplanes, the Macross planes. I like them a lot more because you can actually tighten up the joints yourself. You don't need the company to, try to figure out some fucking special code to try to fix it yourself. By tightening up joints, you can literally just take a Phillips screwdriver and just tighten up and you're good to go. So that is one thing I kind of wish they let you did on this. That kind of sucks that you can't. You can see them, but it's just like trying to get to them is a pain in the ass. Now this right here in the front part, I believe this can extend out because I've seen it move when I pulled on it one time, like that right there. You can see it actually kind of has some give there. I think that's part of the function. It doesn't go no further than that, but I don't know what it's for exactly. So if somebody know, please drop a comment in the box. Like, Tim, this is what this is for, but I don't know. Like I said, I'm not gonna sit there and make it up. That's the only thing I don't really get of what's going on in that area. But that is the only thing that kind of kept me from saying that this is a perfect 10 figure, because his waist is kind of a nuisance. You can kind of see it right there where it just looks pretty bad. But when it deals with keeping a pose, he can keep a pose with no problem. So like further as functionality of just dealing with the figure, that part you don't got to be concerned about. You're going to be solid there. Now, what's nice, you can see right here on his leg, you can bend this like this and it will reveal parts of the robot. So that is actually really cool. Bring it down, it goes back up. Obviously, you're getting a full double hinge on the knee, which causes the knee to go all the way back like you've seen. Going down to the ankle itself, tons of greatness going down here as well. So you have a hinge right there. You have a toe joint. You have a ball joint somewhere in there going on where you can actually shift the foot forward, backwards, side to side if need be, and you have a tilt on the foot itself. So super wide stance. So this figure just, like I said, outside of that one thing, that's my only gripe. Outside of that, figure is a beast. They definitely putting some real work into this figure. And I'm going to go ahead and start putting stuff on him. So let's go ahead and see what this figure looks like when everything is on the figure. All right, so what we're going to do is, let's straighten him out a bit. Let me see if I can get this faceplate off. Give me 1 second. So after like 3 decades, I actually got his face to be removed. And that shit is a pain in the ass. Just want to put that out there. You're actually seeing a little gap. Well, maybe you can't because it's not a good enough good light. But there's your little circuit board behind the face, so that keeps the light shining on. So let me go ahead and put this stuff back together real fast. It just tabs in nice and firm. Getting this face off is hell. So I would say pick a face you like and kind of stick with it, because that shit was a nuisance. All right. So the faceplate is now on. Why did I do that? Because I didn't put his tarp on him. Or his, what you call it? His little thing. So pretty much what I end up doing is bring the shoulders out a bit to kind of give it some space. All right, lift the chin up so that way you can get the thing up under his chin. Then hopefully you can get it around the neck as well. There we go. Because once you try to get up on his chin, then you can kind of pull back on it and it'll slide up everything else in place for you. So now it's on there. So I'm going to go ahead and put that faceplate on. There we go. So that is that. All right, so let's go ahead and pull off his hand. Like I said, they easily removed. I'll put this sword on. All right. Go ahead and take this. Which way is this turned? Think downwards. And this just pegs right into the side of his body. Just be careful not to scrape anything or apply too much pressure in the wrong place. Place the sword on this side. Everything is easily equipped. It's just mainly trying to just be careful because everything else on them. Not everything is delicate or anything, but you know, just that area is kind of delicate. So just be kind of wary of that. All right, so that's pegged in. Let's take off the other hand. Let's put the other blade on there. All right. All right. And that is on. So now we can just, oh shit. And then what I did with this, I just went ahead and tucked it kind of under the chin as well. I wrapped it around the back of the head. And since there's wire in here, you can obviously, you know, move it to your liking. Find what you like with the figure. Oh, be careful. Fat ass fingers, man. This shit makes life a bastard. So, just to kind of give you a general idea. And when I say this figure is really well put together for the ass with posing, move this stuff out the way because something tells me I'm going to knock that off. All right. Oh yeah, he does have a hip swivel too in the upper part of the hip, so you can turn the leg like you need to get what you want out of it. And then the overall balance to this figure is just crazy. What I didn't show you, this actually pegs onto this little gray piece on his back. The piece is removable. I just left it in during the review because I didn't feel like trying to fight with it. So you actually can just tab this in like so. Now this is the only thing that has a tendency to come off pretty easy, but it goes on just as easy. So you actually got, see like what I'm saying? That's the only thing. Like one little tap on it, it just comes off. So I would say if you're going to display it, just be careful with that aspect in mind. I don't know why something so tiny, such a pain in the ass. All right. So now we got this. And there you go. So you can pretty much pose this figure and he will hold his stance. Won't go nowhere. Nice and firm. You can even see the back of the heel is off the ground. Really dope figure. Really dope figure. So that is a review of good old Drift. Like I said, if you're big on robot figures and you just like some cool robots and not really stuck on trying to have it, transform into a vehicle or whatever, I would definitely say pick them up. And I'm gonna be honest with you, I only see this toy line improving and getting better because for this to be their very first figure, they did a pretty damn good job, like a really good job. Like I said, there's small things here and there that I wish can be better. But, for this to be the first figure, this is a pretty strong knock out the gate to actually be their very first figure. And I'm pretty sure everything else that's coming behind it is just only going to get better over time. And I can definitely say this might be a line for the Transformer fans to actually start taking a look at. But, hope this review was great for y'all. Hope y'all enjoyed it. Definitely please come back and check out more reviews. And y'all take care.